Many, many years before Marvel was able to claim like this is like the single greatest cinematic event where every famous superhero is gonna cross over with each other in this big payoff in Avengers Endgame, there was Who Framed Roger Rabbit. That's right, we've reached number 17 here on the list. Hello, my name is Kyle. If you're wondering why I'm counting down my 40 favorite films since the time I was born, you can go back to the very first video in this series to give you all the information you need. As a kid who was super into animation and way more precocious than I ever should have been. Literally, I would have been 5 years old when this movie came out, and I knew the difference between the Disney characters and the Warner Brothers Looney Tunes characters. Those were two separate universes, and to see those cross over with one another was like, how are they pulling this off? We have the classic Donald and Daffy dueling pianos moment in this, but even just seeing like legacy characters like Betty Boop show up in this film, or Woody Woodpecker was such a thrill. And then to layer on top of that, it is just a really good film noir piece. It's like a murder mystery trying to figure out who is trying to kill Mr. Roger Rabbit. I'm sure a lot of people's sexual interest was piqued when Jessica Rabbit was introduced to their lives. I think it's funny, it's zany, I think it has something to say about public transportation of all things. I don't know what else you can say about Bob Hoskins. It is like a coup of perfect casting to have this gruff old guy be your centerpiece. And what is ostensibly a kid's film, he is a film noir character while simultaneously not being out of place in a world filled with tunes. The judge in this movie is so terrifying. I had nightmares of this guy growing up and being put into the dip myself. And the other thing that this movie does so incredibly well, what Robert Zemeckis and his design team were able to do, unlike something more recent like that Rescue Rangers movie that came out a couple years ago, check out the shadows in this movie. When a lamp moves, the shadows are not just moving in the background because the lamp is moving and casting a shadow, the shadow is also casting across the animated character. So for me, the illusion is never broken. It feels like these are real cartoon characters interacting with live action people, and of course that could happen in this fantasy world. A movie that I continue to love. The ride is even pretty fun in Disneyland if you ever have a chance to go there. What are your thoughts? How do you like Roger Rabbit? Does Jessica Rabbit even belong in a kid's film? Let me know in the comments below. Next up, another animated classic.
Do you mean to tell me that you could have taken your hand out of that cuff at any time?
No, not at any time. Only when it was funny.